What's going on, guys? I'm Pete and this is Retro Game Addict. So recently I picked up a PS2 Slim 7000 series model with a bunch of PS1 games, and I wanted to see if I can actually use this as my daily driver in lieu of my PS2 Fat. So I've heard and read that the PS2 Slim actually has faster loading times than the original Fat model. So what I wanted to do here is take a selection of games, PS1 and PS2, and just do a side-by-side comparison to see which console loads the games quicker. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first game we have here is Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex. And as you can see, the PS2 Slim is loading up pretty quickly compared to the Fat. I sped the footage up just a little bit, and you can see, oh yeah, it pulled ahead already. Still loading. We already have the universal screen, Konami. I remember the loading times for early PS2 games like this to be brutal. Traveler's Tales. And loaded in about a minute. And you can see that the PS2 Fat is just about there too, it's not that far behind. So moving forward, let's do Virtua Fighter 4 for the PS2. So pretty slow to boot up, it's kind of black for a little while. I know it doesn't feel like a long time when watching this video, but it feels like forever just staring at a blank screen waiting for this to boot up. And then I'm going to click through both of these pretty quickly. I'm not going to get it down to an exact science between the two, but you can see I'm moving quick between both of them, canceling, saying no. I guess I don't have a memory card in each of them. And that was pretty quick. The Slim booted up in about 33 seconds. And then the PS2 Fat wasn't that far behind it. Now here's an interesting one with San Andreas. So the Slim doesn't read it, and I've come to this problem on a few of my discs, and the PS2 Slim doesn't seem to be as reliable in reading them as the Fat. So that is something to take into account. I did invest in a laser lens cleaner, and that didn't seem to fix the problem. As everybody knows, it takes a minute to boot up. So I just wanted to use that as an example. The PS2 Fat actually did have the advantage here because it did work, and the PS2 Slim did not. So moving forward, I want to compare the PS2 Slim, the Fat, versus the original model on a PS1 game and see which one loads the quickest. So we'll start them up all around at the same time. You can see the Slim is pulling ahead pretty quickly, and it loaded already in about 30 seconds. The Fat lags behind because I guess you have to go through the system UI and then select the disc, which I don't have to do that with every game, but a lot of the PS1 games I do have to do on that one. And the Fat is coming in strong. But regardless, that took over a minute to load, so that was pretty slow. And then next up, let's try Mega Man Legends. And again, the Slim is quick out of the gate. And then there are some options in between. I just click start or, the X button in between just to rush through it. And loaded up in about 40 seconds on the Slim, so that was pretty quick. And it wasn't too far behind on the original. And then again, lagging in third is the PS2 Fat. And still going. Which finally loaded after over a minute. And then last but not least, let's try Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. So if you're a gamer of a certain age, you know everybody was obsessed with this game back then. Again, the Slim is just blasting through it. It seems to be loading PS1 games rather quickly, so that's a good sign. And it loaded in about 30 seconds, which is wild. I always think of the original PS1 games to load pretty slowly, so it's cool to see that the Slim can load them kind of quick for what they are. And the original PlayStation loaded as well. And then we're creeping up to a minute, and I'd say in a little bit under a minute, the Fat loaded it. I know this doesn't prove a lot to everyone, but from what I see, it seems that the Slim is definitely the best for loading PS1 games pretty quickly. But the PS2 Fat seems to be old reliable and hasn't let me down yet, while the Slim didn't read certain PS2 discs, so I'm probably just going to stick with the Fat. So what did you guys think? Please let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for checking out Retro Game Addict. I seriously appreciate you all, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.